Well, good morning, everyone. Here we are on January the 25th already, and we've returned back to our winter cold. It's feel like a minus 25 out there, so well, at least it's not minus 40. Right? So if we can tell the difference. So we're reading through Genesis. We're at the part of Joseph right now. And the thing I noted is the thing that we always note about Joseph, his attitude. His attitude is pretty amazing. Uh, he he had to go through a bit of maturity process. He had to go through some humbling moments in his life in order for him to take the position that God had indeed planned for him. And he was really the protector of his family. The dreams that he had were not off, and he was being sent into a position. Yes, to save Egypt, but more so, it was about saving his family. It was creating a place that his family would be able to escape from the upcoming famine, which was going to be really devastating. But not knowing that he was destined to something, but not exactly understanding what, he suddenly finds himself going from a favored son to a slave, from a favored son to a slave. Most of us would probably be crying the injustice of it, and our attitude would be pretty bad. But Joseph showed this attitude that he just submitted to God in that. This is where I am. He looked around. He saw what had to be done. He worked hard, and God blessed him. That blessing was evident to everybody, especially his owner, and he prospered. He prospered in that position. It said he became successful. He became a successful man. How do you become a successful man as a slave? To us, freedom is everything, and we can't imagine ourselves being a slave. But he the word says he became a successful man. He became the manager of the house. Um, Everything he needed, he had. He seemed to be very satisfied in that position, and that's interesting, because when you're a person who's moving towards a destiny, quite often when the Lord is taking us through these lessons, we are dissatisfied because we're looking forward to what's coming instead of living in the moment and being satisfied in the moment, right where we are. Enjoy where you are now. Just as you don't live tomorrow's worries, you don't live tomorrow's joys. You live the joy in today. Sometimes we are so far forward looking that we miss what's special about today, and we miss the opportunities today. But not Joseph. Joseph lived in the moment. Being a man of destiny, it's pretty amazing. And then again, it wasn't his fault that he was put into slavery. And what happens next isn't his fault. He was a man of righteousness, of doing what was right, of honoring his boss, of honoring his God. And this woman just kept throwing herself at him. And eventually, because of who she was, Joseph ended up in jail. Again, such injustice to his life. But again, Joseph does not moan and groan and cry about it. He looks around, sees the situation, and he works hard. And when you consider the freedom he had as the son of Jacob, and that freedom was cut down as a slave, but he still had freedom as a slave, not as much. And that's reduced even more as he's put in jail. But he still serves faithfully, and he's still seen as successful, and he still is blessed. That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing. And he served the Lord where he was, and he served his masters where he was. And in these trials and testings, Joseph proved to be true to the heart that God had given him. And so God could trust him with the greater responsibility that we haven't read about yet, um, but where we are, there's so much lesson in that. We can learn, we can read that, we can learn, we can read it constantly. But if we're not willing to put that into practice, we won't understand the benefits of it. So wherever we are today, look around and work hard. Look around and see what you can do to serve others. See what you can do to honor God and bless God, and stay true to the righteousness that we've been called to. And you will be considered a successful person, and you will be blessed, and people will see that blessing. And that's the big thing. We desire people to see God's blessing in our life, that they will know who He is and how He treats His children. So you be blessed today, be encouraged, be used by God in whatever you're doing. Hold on, fast is almost over. You can make it to the end. So God bless.